Are you telling me the Phillies actually swept a doubleheader against the Toronto Blue Jays? The Phillies actually just swept a doubleheader in general. We won 2 games from the Toronto Blue Jays today. Game 1, dominant fashion. Zach Eflin dealing on the mound. Well, that's definitely what we needed from him, rather than the last start he had against the Marlins. It's always a flip of a coin with Zach Eflin. Thank God we landed on the right side of the coin today. Pitches a complete game. Total dominance. And the Phillies win that game 7-0. Bryce Harper looks like he's getting hot once again. Alec Bohm continues to drive in runs. Didi Gregorius doing his thing as well. And the Phillies just dominate the game and win 7-0. You don't have to use the bullpen because you don't have to worry about the bullpen blowing the game because you don't have to worry about using them. That's the key right there. That is the key right there. But we get a bullpen game in Game 2 as expected. And honestly, it's as expected. The bullpen is expected to allow runs, and the Blue Jays did score runs, but the offense responded. The offense actually helped the bullpen, didn't die down, and Hector Neris didn't blow the game. It's astonishing. What year are we in? What year are we in where Hector Neris doesn't blow the game? I'm astonished. I'm amazed. And I need an excuse to wear the headband to be a jerk-off, because I just need it. Because the Phillies actually had a convincing win in 2 doubleheaders. And the bullpen didn't blow the game. Thankfully. Thank God for Bryce Harper. Thank God for Alec Bohm. Thank God for Rafael Marchan. Who expected this guy to hit his first career professional home run? His first career professional home run. Not his first major league home run. Professional. Hasn't hit one in the minor leagues. Hasn't hit one in single league ball. Wherever in the professional leagues. First professional league home run here tonight at Citizens Bank Park. Who would have expected that? Not me. No one there. If you bet Rafael Marchan to hit a home run tonight, you're crazy, and you probably just won a lot of money. You're crazy, though, because no one expected that to happen. And every time I hear his name, I keep hearing Brad Marchand of the Boston Bruins, because they sound exactly alike, but they're spelled 2 completely different ways. It's just one of those names where they sound exactly alike, but they're spelled completely different ways. But hey, it's right there. Nice job there from Rafael Marchan right there. It was a nice little moment right there. And the Phillies win 2 games out of the doubleheader. And I think the Marlins, I think they had a doubleheader today with the Washington Nationals. And I'm not sure if the Nationals won both games. I know they won the first game. I am not entirely sure about the second game. I will look that up probably at the end of this video. But hey, the Phillies won 2 games out of a doubleheader. It's nice. It's really nice right there. Whew. In the first game, like I said, convincing fashion. Especially from Zach Eflin. And his stat line on the night. 7 innings pitched. He goes to the complete game out of the first game. 4 hits, 0 earned runs, 9 strikeouts, and 2 walks. He looked really good today. He was locating pitches. He was using that curveball to strike people out. And he just looked dominant out there. And like I said, it's a flip of the coin with Zach Eflin. And thank God we landed on the right side of the coin for today's game. Hopefully he can try to build on this game going down the stretch, just because we're not going to have Jake Arrieta. We're not going to have Spencer Howard probably. The rotation right now is just going to look like a weird situation regardless of Zach Wheeler and an Aaron Nola. The bottom part of the rotation is going to look a little weird. So hopefully Zach Eflin can step up right here and maybe give us a couple more good starts going down the line, because the Phillies are definitely going to need it. And it started right here with this first game of the doubleheader going a complete game. And just going over the game, the Phillies got a couple base runners in the first inning. Alec Bohm gets on, Bryce Harper gets on, and Didi Gregorius gets a double, and it scores Bryce Harper. And the Phillies make it a 1-0 lead, and the Phillies are not done there. It takes a little bit till the 5th. You get Zach Eflin dominating for a couple of innings. The Phillies get their base runners here and there. They can't score. But it doesn't start until the 5th inning. McCutchen gets on, and then Bryce Harper hits another moonshot to right field. It just barely grazes past the foul pole. And the Phillies go up 3-0. Bryce Harper, that's his 3rd home run in the past 2 games. And his bat is definitely heating up. You can tell by the way he's batting out there. He has his swagger back. And you could tell from game 2 from him getting pumped up just his at-bats in general. He looks better. He looks a lot better. And the Phillies, like I said with Zach Eflin, they are definitely going to need this from Bryce Harper going down the stretch, because you don't know if you're going to have Rhys Hoskins back. You don't know if you're going to have a JT Realmuto back in the near future. So it's definitely going to be a little bit of help right here, having Bryce Harper wake up a little bit. And then it continues on from there. Alec Bohm, Didi Gregorius get on, and then Phil Gosselin drives in. Alec Bohm makes it 4-0, and then Andrew Knapp, of all people, hits a triple down the right field line, and it scores Gosselin and Didi, and it makes it a 6-0 game. And then we go to the top of the 6th inning. Yeah, I said the top of the 6th because the Phillies in this game were declared as the away team, because I think it was from a canceled game during the Phillies-Blue Jays series when they were playing up in Buffalo. So I think that was the entire reason why the Phillies were declared as the road team for this game, but I digress. Roman Quinn gets on with a walk. A couple outs later, Alec Bohm comes up, and he drives in Roman Quinn with a single, and it's a 7-0 Phillies lead, and that's all Zach Eflin needed. He only needed 1 run, apparently, in today's game, but the Phillies gave him 7, and he took it away, and he went the complete game. Good out of Zach Eflin right there. Thank God the offense, they woke up a little bit today. And honestly, the offense woke up in both games today. Very, very solid performance by the offense. If you look at the stat line for Game 1 for the offense, Andrew McCutchen goes 0 for 2 with 2 walks. Bryce Harper goes 1 for 3 with that 2-run bomb. Alec Bohm goes 2 for 3 with the RBI that drove in Roman Quinn. Didi Gregorius goes 3 for 4 with an RBI. Phil Gosselin goes 2 for 4 with an RBI. Scott Kingery, a quiet night for him. It's still a work in progress right now, him coming off of that injury. He's been better since he came back off the IL, but still, he needs to pick it up a little bit. Needs to pick it up. Then Andrew Knapp goes 1 for 4 with that 2 RBI triple. Mickey Moniak, quiet night at the plate. He got a walk, but he went 0 for 3 as well. And Roman Quinn, he did work the walk, but both games today, he has looked very, very ugly at the plate. Just very, very ugly. Striking out a lot. I think in the night game of the doubleheader, he had 3 strikeouts. Just did not look good whatsoever. Just did not look good whatsoever. And we go into the second game. So the Phillies, they get this first win in Game 1. Now we go into Game 2. We know it's going to be a bullpen game. And David Hale was the starter for the Phillies out of the bullpen. And honestly, coming out of the stretch, he was good in the first 2 innings. And then once you get in the first 3 innings, actually, he was pretty good. And then once you get into the 4th inning, it was one of those situations where he went his 3 innings. He did good. I can understand why Joe Girardi would keep him out there, just because he was pitching so good. But then once you get around that second time throughout the lineup, I feel like that's when you need to take the pitcher out and go with someone else, just to get a new face out there so the lineup's not adjusting to the pitcher that's currently on the mound. Give them something different to look at, and you go on from there. But David Hale, he was solid until he got into that 4th inning. But I'll continue on from there. I'll go from the pitchers first, actually. So David Hale went 3 1/3 innings, allows 4 hits, 2 earned runs, no walks, 1 strikeout, and 1 home run allowed. Then Jojo Romero, and probably the worst performance that he's had ever since he's been called up. He only goes a third of an inning, allows 3 hits, 3 earned runs, no walks, no strikeouts. Not the best performance from JoJo, and that allowed the Blue Jays to tie the game up later in this, actually take the lead in this ball game. Then David Phelps comes in, he only goes a third of an inning. And he does fine, but that inning was so long in general. Then Heath Hembry comes in, he gets torched. Heath Hembry gets torched, then Connor Brogdon comes in. He kind of settles it down right there. He does allow a run, but that goes charged to Hembry. So Brogdon, he goes an inning and 2/3, allows 1 hit, no earned runs, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts. He gets credited with the win in this game. And Hector Neris goes 1 inning strong. He goes in the 7th inning. No hits, no earned runs allowed, 2 walks to make it scary just because we can't have nice things. No strikeouts, but he does record the save, and the Phillies win the ball game 8-7. So, just going through this game in general, the Phillies do score first. Once again, the Phillies are a team that loves to score early on in the ball games, and it starts very early. Alec Bohm gets on. Bryce Harper did get on with a single, but he tried to. I like it when Bryce Harper is trying to be aggressive. That's when you know he's on his game. That's when you know he's on the top of it. He's trying to be aggressive. He's trying to stretch a single into a double, and he gets out at second base. So I love the effort. I love the aggressiveness out of Bryce Harper, but what transpires after is where I would kind of like Bryce Harper not to try to take that base, just because of what transpires after everything happens. So Alec Bohm, he gets on with a walk, and then there's a wild pitch that happens, which allows Alec Bohm to steal second base. And then Didi Gregorius gets a single, which drives Alec Bohm to score. So if Bryce Harper doesn't try to steal that, go the extra mile and try to get second base, you would have had first and second, and then on that wild pitch, you would have had second and third, and that Didi Gregorius single would have driven 2 runs, and it would be 2-0 instead of 1-0. But hey, the Phillies, they got one. I do like the effort out of Bryce Harper. I like the fact that when he's trying to do that, that's when he's on the top of his game, when he's trying to give that 110%, even though he's doing that every night, when he's showing that effort, when he's showing it. You know he is on the top of his game, and you know his game is taking another step, which he has done in these past few games right here, going back to that last game against the New York Mets. So I like that out of Bryce Harper. And then the Phillies, they tack on another run in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Andrew McCutchen goes opposite field for a home run, and he makes it 2-0 Phillies. But then the Blue Jays, they wake up in the 4th inning. This is where Hale starts to falter a little bit going into the second time throughout the order in the Blue Jays lineup. And this is, like I said, he gets the first out, but then Teoscar Hernandez gets a home run down the left field line to make it 2-1. It was a moonshot, and it was long gone. It barely grazed the foul pole like Bryce Harper's did in the first game of this doubleheader. Then Grichuk, he gets on with a double. And then after the Grichuk double, that's when David Hill comes out, Jojo Romero comes in, and then Vlad Guerrero gets a single, which drives in Grichuk and ties the ball game at 2. And then Joe Panik, he gets hit by a pitch. Then Santiago Espinal, he gets a single, which scores Vlad Guerrero, and it's a 3-2 ball game at that point. Then Kevin Biggio, he gets an RBI single, which scores 2 runs, and it makes it a 5-2 Blue Jays lead at that point. So Jojo Romero, not the best outing right there from him out of the bullpen. Like I said, it's probably his worst outing so far since being called up. He's been dominant so far early on since he's been called up, but this game, not the best stuff right there. And then David Phelps comes in. He gets the last out of the inning, and it's a 5-2 Blue Jays lead going after the 4th inning. But then the Phillies, they tack on more runs in the bottom of the 4th inning to tie the ball game up. Scott Kingery works a walk. Then Mickey Moniak, after Stripling comes out of the ball game, Mickey Moniak, what a time to get your first major league hit. Gets a single down the right field, and you got 2 men on for Rafael Marchan. There's a wild pitch involved too, which gets Kingery over to 3rd and Moniak to 2nd. And that's all that Marchan needs, because he hits a 3-run bomb to right field. Like I said, his first professional home run, and he ties the ball game at 5. What? Like, who is this guy? Who is Rafael Marchan? And they're saying it's his first career professional home run at any level. What a time to get your first professional career home run to tie the ball game up. I like that there out of you, Marchan. I like it there a lot. And then we go in to the top of the 5th inning. Heath Hembree comes on to replace Phelps, and then this is where Hembree gets little because the Blue Jays respond immediately. Gurriel Jr., he gets on with a single. Teoscar Hernandez gets on with a single. And then there's a sac fly by Grichuk, which allows Gurriel to score, making it 6-5. Vlad Guerrero, he gets hit by a pitch. This is when Connor Brogdon comes in. There's a force out, and then there's a walk. Bases are loaded. Another walk by Brogdon allows Teoscar Hernandez to score, and it makes it a 7-5 ball game. And then we go to the bottom of the 6th. The Phillies can't do anything at the bottom of the 5th. We go to the bottom of the 6th. And the Phillies, they respond. Mickey Moniak works a walk. Rafael Marchan gets on with a single. Moniak's at 2nd. Andrew McCutchen comes on at the plate. Wild pitch. Moniak the 3rd. Marchan the 2nd. Andrew McCutchen does get called out on a strikeout. And this is where it wasn't Joe Girardi. It was the Phillies hitting coach gets ejected for arguing the call, because honestly, the third strike call to Andrew McCutchen, it was a little bit below the knees. And the umpire, honestly, in today's game wasn't that good. He wasn't that good. Some of his strike calls were off location. There were some weird location calls right there. And honestly, if you're going back to the game against the Mets a couple days ago, well, yesterday actually, when both teams were experiencing such terrible calling behind the plate, you're kind of frustrated right there, because you got a bad umpire yesterday in the game, and now you're getting a bad umpire in this game. Like what the hell is going on right here? Like, can we get an actual professional umpire that knows how to call a strike zone? It's frustrating right there, and the Phillies hitting coach Joe Dillon gets taken out of the ballgame. He gets ejected, and you see Joe Girardi come out arguing why he gets tossed out of the game, and then Joe Girardi goes back into the dugout. But after that, you still have 2 runners on, and Bryce Harper comes up, and Bryce Harper, in the clutch, crushes a ball to center field. It hits the top of the wall. It hits the top of the wall. It was just barely gone by this much. Top of the wall. Moniak, Marchan score, ties the game. Bryce Harper with a double, and you see him coming out of second base, pumping, let's go! Let's go! And it's a 7-7 ball game. And we're not done right there. Alec Bohm hits the ball down the right field side. There's a little bit of miscommunication between the first baseman, second baseman, and pitcher. And then Bryce Harper doing his thing. He runs from second to home base on that miscue right there. And then also, Alec Bohm gets a single out of that too. So he makes it 8-7. Alec Bohm continues to hit when runners in scoring position. He's one of our best hitters with runners in scoring position. Didi does get on with a walk. He had 2 runners on right there for Jay Bruce, and he flies out, and he grounds out actually. So the Phillies take an 8-7 lead going into the top of the 7th inning. And it's still weird to say that, because I'm still not fully used to the doubleheader 7-inning ball games, even though I should be, because there's been so many of them. But I'm just like, okay, we're going into the final 7th inning. It just sounds weird to say. But we do go into that 7th inning, and Hector Neris comes out. He gets the first 2 batters out. That's Vlad Guerrero Jr. and Joe Panik. And then VR gets a walk. He steals a base. Travis Shaw gets a walk. And then it's like, oh my God, Neris, what the hell are we doing right here? You got the first 2 outs. Why do you have to make it scary? Why do you have to make it scary? And then Calvin Biggio lines out to center field to Roman Quinn, and the Phillies win the ball game. They sweep the doubleheader from the Toronto Blue Jays. They take the first 2 games of this series, and they win this game by a score of 8-7. Whew. Whew. Oh boy. Whew. Like I said, I needed an excuse to wear this headband, because I like being a jerk off. It's fun to have that false hope. You have that false hope right there. There's definitely going to be some build-up after this ball game, but then you come back to reality, knowing that, okay, the Phillies got 2 good wins right here. They did. They got 2 good wins. The offense stepped up, and the bullpen actually did not blow the game, thankfully. And they got 2 wins out of this. Try to build off of this, please. Please try to build off of this. I know this is false hope right here. It's probably not going to happen, but hey, a man can dream right here. A man could dream. And if we're looking at the lineup for today's game, Andrew McCutchen, actually in game 2, Andrew McCutchen goes 1-for-4 with that home run. Bryce Harper goes 3-for-3 with that 2 RBI double. Alec Bohm goes 1-for-3. Didi Gregorius goes 1-for-3. Jay Bruce, in his first game back in the lineup after being injured for a little bit right there, goes 0-for-4. Scott Kingery goes 0-for-1. He had 2 walks on the night. Better night there for Scott Kingery. Wish he would get a hit right there. Roman Quinn, not a really good day at the plate. Honestly, a pretty awful day at the plate in both games. 3 strikeouts as he goes 0-for-3 in the second ball game right there. And that's kind of questioning too, because there was a righty on the mound for Toronto. Why isn't Adam Hazley in the lineup? Could it be from when he got hit by a pitch in the last game against the Mets? He's dealing with some issues right there. It's a little bit questionable right there. Because why isn't Adam Hazley in the lineup when the righty's on the mound? He's proven he can get hits in big moments, so it's a little bit questionable right there. And he's honestly the better option than Roman Quinn. I know Roman Quinn has that game-breaking speed, but the guy just can't hit. The guy is not good in the batter's box. He's very inconsistent, and he tries to hit the ball out of the ballpark way too much when that shouldn't be his first thought. It just shouldn't. Goes 0-for-3 with those 3 strikeouts. Mickey Moniak had a better day at the plate. Goes 1-for-2, and he gets his first major league hit in his career. I would like to say hopefully he can keep that up, but like I said, I'm not very high on Mickey Moniak, but hey, I won't beat on the kid that much today. And then Rafael Marchan, 2 for 3 with his first professional home run. On that 3-run bomb. And the Phillies win 8-7. Whew. The Phillies win 8-7. And like I said, I do want to make sure if the Washington Nationals beat the Marlins in both games. So they win game 1 by a score of 5-0, but then the Marlins absolutely torched them in game 2, 14-3. Whew. 14-3. Whew. So the Marlins split that doubleheader with the Washington Nationals today. So it's you kind of hope that Washington would have swept the doubleheader right there, because I think that if Washington won both games and the Phillies won both, since the Phillies won both their games too, I think the Phillies would have been a half game behind the Marlins if the Marlins lost both of their games. But I think since the Marlins won that game, I'm not sure if the Phillies are a game and a half behind second place or just a game behind second place at this point. So it's a bit of a battle right here, just because it's so tight in the standings right here. And honestly, right now, I do want to check the standings just to make sure, because I am very, very intrigued at this point. Very, very intrigued. I want to see the standings. And MLB.com makes it very, very difficult to see the standings. So if we go to the NL East, the Phillies are currently 26-25, and the Marlins are 26-24. Yes, the Phillies are a half game behind the Marlins for second place. So the Phillies need to find a way to get some wins right here, because the New York Mets at this point, they are currently 3 games out of the wild card behind the Phillies. And if you look at the St. Louis Cardinals, they are currently a half game back of the wild card. Same thing with the Cincinnati Reds. Even though the Cincinnati Reds, they're in second place, they would technically get that automatic playoff spot. And the Colorado Rockies, they're 3 games and a half back of the wild card right now. So right now we're in a battle basically between the St. Louis Cardinals and also the Milwaukee Brewers, who are a game and a half behind the final wild card spot. So it's going to be a tough stretch right here. The Phillies need to win some ball games, especially in this series against the Blue Jays, and also the series coming up against the Washington Nationals. This is definitely some series where the Phillies need to get some wins right here. False hope? Maybe. But hey, the Phillies got 2 wins today, and that's all that matters. So what are your thoughts on these 2 games by the Phillies? What are your thoughts on these 2 wins? Zach Eflin's performance, Bryce Harper's performance, Alec Bohm, Rafael Marchan with his home run. What are your thoughts? So don't forget to leave your comments down in the comment section. Don't forget to drop a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time.